Hey guys, welcome to this special episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. To celebrate the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019, I'm going to be covering my top 10 favorite Bionicle MOCs of 2018. The only criteria that fit into this is it was 100% my opinion, and I also made sure that it was specifically Bionicle MOCs, so if it was a little too system heavy, I didn't cover it, but there will be some honourable mentions covered in this episode as well, and some of those MOCs will be featured in there. So, like I said, this is all 100% my opinion. If you disagree with it, that's totally okay, but these were the MOCs that were my favourite of 2018. So let's get started. Let's cover my top 10 favourite Bionicle MOCs from all the awesome mockers in the community of 2018. Let's go! Starting off with number 10. This one is a MOC by Moko, and is called Thunderbolt. When I first saw this MOC, I was absolutely blown away because my boy Moko had made another Bionicle MOC, and I'd been looking forward to seeing some new Bionicle stuff from him for quite a while, and he 100% delivered. He made a phenomenal MOC. Some of the coolest stuff with it, so many unique concepts. It has this absolutely genius kind of lighting and lightning design kind of play feature. This sort of yellow bits on the arms here actually open up and have these lightning things coming out of them, and they also light up. We've got this cool picture here showing that. And it's just so awesome how well integrated that lighting is. He's obviously used some of the LEGO Power Functions lighting kits. And the way that he's been able to interconnect those cables and actually have them look like legitimate cables that are a part of the design itself, and then have those linking up to the lights themselves, is such a flawless, brilliant design that not only complements the actual design itself, but actually adds an additional feature to the MOC. And that's just genius. It blew me away when I saw this. And then on top of that, you've also got the actual eyes on this MOC, which I think there's two. I'm a little confused with how that concept works. I assume this guy's got two faces, but still really cool. But those also light up as well, which is phenomenal to see. And then overall, the MOC itself just has some brilliant shaping and a very solid kind of overall silhouette and structure. It's really something to take in. So that's number 10 from Moko. Now we're going to look at my 9th favorite MOC from 2018. This is a MOC by Joxon, and is called the Specimen. So this MOC's absolutely terrifying, and that's what makes it so cool. Obviously, he's taken a lot of inspiration from the facehugger from the Alien franchise, but he's kind of taken that idea and then really expanded upon it, which is awesome to see. This MOC has a really awesome eye design. It's a brilliant, almost flawless example of creating shapes with kind of solely using claws, hero factory armor, your typical CCBS shells, that sort of thing. As well as just general claws, tail parts, all that sort of stuff. And we'll see a few more examples of that as we progress through my top 10 here. But this one in particular is a great example of making some beautifully organic, fluid shapes with those sorts of pieces. But what makes this MOC stand out from a lot of the other amazing stuff that Joxon has made this year is the really kind of awesome personality and atmosphere that this MOC conveys. Like I said at the start, it's terrifying, it's really scary, and he's done a fantastic job of using the exact right pieces and playing with his textures and things like that to create that atmosphere and to create that character. It's really awesome. So nice work, buddy. Now it's time for my 8th favorite Bionicle MOC of 2018. This is a MOC by Galaxus and is called Stag, Colossus, Plague Mech, Omega. Really love the color blocking on this MOC. It really, because of course this is built for Jafer's Plague Mech contest, it very much gives it that bug atmosphere. All of the white and all of its different textures are very smooth, and it makes it look a lot more like the kind of shells that you would see on a specific bug that this would have been inspired by, or a stag beetle for that matter. It's a really great texture play and really great color blocking. I really like it, and it just really makes this MOC stand out for me. It's got a great, really unique face design that continues across that bug aesthetic, and also I really love the unique and pretty awesome hand design that this MOC has. It's kind of done a really great job of integrating the bug concept and merging it with hands, that sort of thing, kind of how those pincers sort of flow into these really big shells that fit on the sides of his hand, and then also just having these big hands. It creates a really unique looking character design. It's something I've not seen before and something that really stands out to me, and it's why this is in my top 10. This next factor doesn't necessarily factor in a huge amount as to why this is in the top 10, but it was really cool to see Galaxus make a huge comeback by, out of the blue, suddenly posting, which he hadn't done in quite a while, and then bringing a beautiful high caliber MOC like this. That was really awesome to see. So awesome job, Galaxus. Another fantastic MOC from you. This one is my 7th favorite MOC from 2018. This MOC is by Anthony Wilson and is called Makuta the Handler. So the minute I saw this, I thought, man, this is an incredibly unique take on a Makuta. Whether it's Makuta Pterodax or just a normal Makuta, it doesn't matter because this concept is so unique. What a brilliant way to kind of really characterize the kind of manipulative, evil atmosphere or aesthetic that a Makuta would typically have. And this is taking it in a whole new direction, which I've just never seen on a Makuta before. The overall design of this mock, kind of using all these different tire pieces to kind of create this sort of shadow effect that's kind of emanating out of the ground, and the way that that actually is integrated into this beautiful system border, which on system borders, Anthony's really kind of pioneered that this year. He's in most of his Bionicle MOCs this year have had those beautiful system borders to accompany it, and a bunch of other AFOLs have followed suit, making some fantastic system borders to go with their Bionicles, and it's just really awesome to see that, and great to see that Anthony's really pioneered that this year. Like I said, the puppet concept is brilliant, and then these little tiny additions like this music box, which actually works, this little sort of torture pod that has a little Matoran inside it, as well as, like I said, the actual kind of puppet instruments, little chains on the top of a little Matoran that's being sort of forced to walk along. Those little additions really, really sell this mock and really give it a sort of unhinging, creepy atmosphere, as well as really selling the character of this Makuta. It's awesome. And like I said before, great use of those tire parts, great way to integrate them like that, have creating this sort of emanating shadow effect. It's really, really nicely done. This is my 6th favorite Bionicle mock of 2018. This is a mock by VB and is called Son of Makuta Insect Control. So of course this is a Rakshi mock made for the Eye collab called Sons of Makuta. And just as a start, the Eye collabs this year, and every year for that matter, have always been fantastic, have always been a very high standard, but this was one of my favorites from those Eye collabs this year, so be sure to check out some of those Eye collabs, because there's always some high quality stuff in those. What I love so much about this mock is the absolutely brilliant head design that it's got here. Very menacing, very evil, very Rakshi-like, but adds a really unique take onto this. Same thing goes for that staff there, very unique custom staff, looks awesome, and honestly, everything about this mock is a very unique take on a Rakshi, but it still is very close to the original Rakshi design. Very much mimics the Mask of Life movie Rakshi design, very much mimics the sets. Everything is just so awesome, but also so original, and it's just really cool how it's that sort of beautiful mesh of new and old and nostalgia. It's really, really nice to see, in my opinion. Great color choices too. Of course, this is the Rakshi of Insect Control, so the color choices that he's used here are, I think, perfect for that. But I definitely think my favorite thing on this mock is the arm design that it uses, using this really cool sort of system handlebar pieces here, and we see that, of course, mimicked on the upper legs there as well. I think that's just a brilliant use of those parts, and very much flows a lot with all the other tubes and different things throughout this mock. It's a very, very nice part use and very nice sort of visual unity on this mock by repeating those pieces throughout it. It's just awesome to see. It's time for my 5th favorite Bionicle mock of 2018. This one is a mock once again by Anthony Wilson and is called Butterfly Plague Mech Sigma. So the moment I saw this mock, I fell in love with these beautiful wings, using those trans pink minifigure cups and these awesome gold pieces and flex tube and everything to create this really cool robotic butterfly wing looking design. It's so unique, so phenomenal, and just really, really pops, and especially pops up against this awesome color scheme using this, I believe medium azure is the name of that color, might be wrong there, but still, what a brilliant color scheme, what a brilliant unique wing design, and what an awesome overall frame and design for this mock. Again, great to see Anthony making some more stands, more heavily made out of system here. Really, really complements the mock, really looks awesome, and overall just a brilliant design, and very much deserved winning that Plague Mech, or winning a certain section of that Plague Mech contest for that matter. Awesome stuff. It's time for my 4th favorite Bionicle mock of 2018. This is a mock by King Marshy and is, you guessed it, the Year of the Pig. So this mock, of course, was made for the 2018 Bio Cup, and like I said in the final podcast of my Bio Cup coverage, this was probably one of my favorite entries to that competition. Absolutely phenomenal mock. I've covered this one a lot, so I'm not going to cover it too much in this episode, but just to touch upon some of my favorite things about this mock, really, really like the food design on this, so many great part usages there, really adds a lot of personality to this mock, and is just awesome to see all those different, really creative part usages there. Really, really organic shaping overall throughout the design on this mock. So much character, so many nice part usages, just all over the character itself. Really well built pig head design, it's so cool to see. And like I said, So much character in this mock, so much personality. Really, really cool. So great work, King Marshy. One of the best from the Bio Cup and one of the best from 2018. We're getting into the home stretch now. This is my third favorite mock of 2018. This mock is by Jafer and is called Cybertooth Tiger. Again, another entry into the Bio Cup, the one that should have won, in my opinion, but that's okay. Rock Monster still made a lot of good competition and a really good mock, but I just like this one more. Anyway, fantastic work. Really, really like this mock. Still absolutely love the jab at Rock Monster on this mock, having that decapitated head there. Really nice showmanship. Really, really sold the mock to me. Absolutely love that. But the mock itself is really the highlight. Super nice organic shaping and just a brilliant overall design on this mock. Love the animalistic head, the sort of fang design there, combined with those three eyes that really pop with that beautiful accent color of trans pink. Oh, it's very nice, very, very nice. Also, a lot of strong attention to detail on this. Really nice visual storytelling on this mock, kind of how all the different tubing and things kind of draw your attention up along the mock. And also just the different textures and shapes that have this beautiful contrasting nature to it. I discussed this a lot with Mr. Mitch Henry in the Bio Cup podcast that we did. I believe that was the last one there. But kind of having all of these very smooth, circular shapes throughout the mock, but that very much contrasting with different elements on this mock. And so it's kind of creating this beautiful contrast between sort of playful and happy, but also very sinister and evil, and creating this beautiful design on this beautifully done mock. Very much deserves the top 3 spot on my list here. So that was number 3. What's next? It's time for my second favorite Bionicle mock of 2018. Who's it gonna be? This is a mock by Andrew Steele, otherwise known as Luigi1456 Andrew, and it is called Talas and Guards. So, actually, before I cover this mock, I kind of almost want to just say Luigi1456 Andrew as a whole deserves this number 2 spot, because the amount of amazing stuff that he's churned out this year that has been at such a high quality and has continued to revolutionize the building style that everyone kind of seems to be building in these organic shapes using a lot of these claw pieces and Exoforce arms, all that sort of stuff. This man is doing some fantastic stuff, and if you haven't seen his stuff, please check it out. I don't put him too much on BIS, but that's because I didn't realize he had a Flickr until I recorded this episode, so you'll see more of his stuff soon. But his stuff is incredible. His stuff is amazing. The stuff that he does with those pieces that I mentioned before, the Exoforce arms, the tail and claw pieces, all those animal body parts, all that sort of stuff is phenomenal. He creates some beautiful organic shapes. He creates such realistic human proportions and everything. It's always blown me away every time he's posted something. I've got a friend who always messages me on Instagram every time he posts stuff, and we both just freaking fangirl out about how incredible some of his stuff is. So your stuff as a whole deserves this number 2 spot, but Talas and your guards are definitely my favorite of your stuff. So that is taking my number 2 spot, and here is why. Really awesome head design on this mock. Looks so much like a skull, just the way that it all sort of flourishes up at the top. Looks like he's got a crown on. And then he's got this throne that accompanies him too. And some of the poses that he's in there, he looks like this evil tyrannical king. It's super cool. So that really, really awesome way of complementing the mock by building this awesome throne, which is basically 100% system there from what I can see. But really, really solid throne design there. It looks awesome. But man, Talas himself is fantastic. And the fact that he's got these 2 awesome Anubis-style guards that go with him, wow. They're just as cool. I love them. Always cool to sort of see some other mocks complementing the sort of centerpiece mock there and kind of giving it more story, giving it more personality. I think that's just awesome. Really, really cool. But yeah, like I was saying, what you've been doing with all of those different parts that you can see on here, you've created just some brilliant shaping, some brilliant sculpting overall. Really, really excellent stuff. Really love what you do. Nice work, Luigi, or Mr. Andrew Steele, whatever you want to be called. You've done some great stuff. So before we get to that number 1 spot that you've all been very eagerly anticipating, it's time to take a look at some honorable mentions who didn't quite make it on the list, but are still really, really special. And we should take a quick look at through 11. I think there was 11. I don't know. A couple of those before we look at that number 1 spot. So join me as we do so. It's time for some honorable mentions. One of our first honorable mentions here is by Jafer and is called Mavruk and Watchdek, however you pronounce it, but still Cool bear guy and cool robot guy. What I love about this, the brilliant bear design, such a really, really beautiful recreation of a bear with mainly sort of system parts there. And he's got a gun on his back. Bears with guns, that's just awesome. And then the great combo of a bear and a cool looking robot guy. The bear and the bot. Really nice. Really, really cool. Really love this mock. Didn't quite make it, but still just as awesome. Another honorable mention we have here is by Lego 7 and is called Horus. So 100% this should have been in my top 3, but I did have those rules about if it was a little too system heavy. And honestly, this mock has a lot of CCBS in it, so I'm kind of still sitting here and I'm like, oh, should I have actually put it in my top 3? I don't know. But whatever. Know that in spirit you deserved one of those top 3 spots. You can have spot number 2.5. Horus here is amazing. The epic wing design that he's got here, it's so posable, it's so awesome, and overall the way that Horus, or Lego 7 rather, has integrated system and CCBS, it just flows so nicely together. You can almost not even tell that there's some system in this. It's just phenomenal. I really love what he's done with this mock. One of my faves. Another honorable mention is by VB once again, and is a mock called Korvika. I love this guy a lot. All of the different texture play that he's got going on here really creates this brilliant bug-like look, and I really like what he's done with the chest. I covered this, I think, in a BioCup episode, but that little highlight of trans orange there, and then that sort of freaky-looking hexagonal circle piece there, kind of looks like he's got some like eggs, like bug eggs inside him like that. Maybe it's like a pregnant female bug. It's terrifying and creepy, but I like it. So I think that's really cool. Really, really like this one. Another honorable mention is by Moko and is called MFS-021 Chironex. So this guy transforms, and that transformation is incredible. But what's so cool about it is it looks so cool in its transformation mode and its robot mode. You know, it's got these awesome Doc Ock tentacle things, really awesome looking purple mock with brilliant head design, brilliant looking kind of character design as a whole. But then it's awesome, like jellyfish squid mode is super cool, looks awesome. I couldn't even tell the thing transformed. And when you can make a transformer that tricks me into not even realizing it transforms, then it's truly a robot in disguise, and it's awesome. So really, really like that. Brilliant mock from Moko. Very much deserves to be an honorable mention here. We got another mock here by Rockmonster 2000 and is called Almar Dark Spirit. So, this mock took the BioCup preliminaries by storm. Absolutely just annihilated the competition. Really incredible. Very much set the stage for his triumphant win of the BioCup 2018. What a fantastic mock. That beautiful splash of lavender in there really makes the color scheme on this mock pop. It's absolutely lovely. What a great head design. Very, very awesome. Very Joxon-like. It's very nice. And I really like the leg design as well as these repeated use of the minifigure hands here to kind of create that creepy, hairy bug look kind of effect thing there. Really nice. Really, really nice. Absolutely love what he did here. What a fantastic mock. Got another honorable mention, which is by Dylan Neves and is called Sparky. I thought this was definitely deserved a spot on here because the upgrade that this mock went through from its first version into this is really, really spectacular. Really cool to see how his self-mock has progressed in the way that Dylan's style as a whole has progressed. Really love what he's done with the cloth there, and just overall it's just a simple but really, really nice mock. There's just something about this one that made me put it on here as a little honorable mention. Let's go on to another one here, which is by Eo Okononen and is called Undis. This again would 100% be in my top 3, probably would even take the number 1 spot, but this mock has absolutely no Bionicle in it. It is 100% system, at least from what I can see. Maybe AO will be like, Ben, there's actually a CCBS part inside the torso that you can't see. So maybe he'll prove me wrong there, but regardless, I still think this mock is absolutely phenomenal. I think I was on the train and I was audibly saying wow as soon as I saw this. Whoa. If a mock can make me scream at the top of my lungs in a public place, it's a good mock. I love this. Brilliant use of colors, phenomenal detailing, and it's really awesome how it sort of plays at that level of, because that's what's one of the things with detail is, I love putting detail in my system stuff, but there's always a fine line you got to tread between something being over detailed and something being just very nicely detailed, and this mock does that flawlessly. It's not too busy, it's just got that lovely amount of detail in there. It's awesome. Really, really cool. Very realistic. Very awesome head design. It's just a phenomenal mock. Absolutely love it. If I was doing a system top 10, this would be in that for sure. And then these will be the last 3 of our honorable mentions. We've got a mock by Mitch Phillips and it's called Son of Makuta Shattering. So another mock from that eye collab there, the Rakshi eye collab from Sons of Makuta. Absolutely love this one. Looks very much like the Mask of Life movie Rakshi, and I think that spine design is just incredible. This one always really stood out for me. I think it's just a brilliant Rakshi design. Very nice. Let's take a look at the second last honorable mention, which is by Joxon, and is called the Chaka Spine Beast. I love this. Joxon stuff's always phenomenal, but I thought this one really stood out for me. Very, very realistic head design there. Super intimidating. So many fangs that he's managed to pack into such a small space there, and so many spikes that he's managed to pack into what seems to be like no connection points, and it's just like, nope, there's heaps of them. I don't know, it's super cool. Super realistic looking frame and design. It's just really nice. Nice work, Joxon. And then the final honorable mention before we get to that number one spot is by Mitch Phillips once again, and is called T Hookah. Again, this was a BioCup entry, but the moment I saw this, I just thought the way that he's used the cloth elements on this is just so unique. I'd never seen something like it before, where he's used these cloth elements to kind of almost form elements of the body and kind of create this fur texture and really, really effectively convey this sort of polar bear furry body look. It's just so unique and not something I'd ever seen before, and he's pulled it off very, very nicely in my opinion. I think it's a very simple mock, but a really, really effective and beautiful mock that uses pieces in a fantastic way. So, very nice work, Mitch Phillips. Really like what you did. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there in total anticipation. What is in that number one spot? You have to know. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. It's time for my number one favorite mock of 2018. Let's go. What's it going to be? The number one spot is a mock by Jafer and is called Cybertooth Tiger. That's right, not only did it win the third spot, it also won the number one spot. This mock is that good that it won third and first. That's right, folks. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm totally joking with you. This did not win. This is a joke. Okay. The real winner of our number one spot of the 2018 Ben Cossey's favorite Bionicle MOCs of 2019, blah, 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 whatever it's called, goes to a mock by Anthony Wilson and a mock by Jafer. It's a collaborative mock called Yin and Yang. That's right. So the awesome thing about this collaborative mock is two of some of the best builders in the business coming together and building two mocks that really perfectly complement each other. What a great collaborative idea, by the way, building a Yin Yang mock, the Yin and the Yang dragon. It's really, really clever, really, really awesome. Love the idea. Really excellent shaping throughout both of these dragons. Both of them have done a fantastic job. They look amazing. Really nice visual unity between the two of them, kind of continuing across tubing along the bellies of both dragons. Nice to see the visual unity, as well as the contrast between the two. Like, obviously there's the contrast in colors, but there's also the contrast in the different textures, but also a lot of unity in the textures too. There's this beautiful level of contrast and familiarity between the two, and yeah, they play off each other really, really nicely. It's awesome. It's really cool. Really, really awesome part usages throughout everything on this. Really love what Jafer's done with that big old, I mean, this is not as cool a part use, but really like what he's done with that flex tube there, using as the whiskers for that dragon. Beautiful kind of wisp on that there. Looks very nice. But the awesome part usages, like I was referring to, the Toa Mata arm piece there being used as the bottom of the mouth there. Really nice. Really like how that looks. And then you take a look at the mouth on Anthony's dragon. You see this, both of these masks being used as the nose and then the bottom of the mouth there. Really, really nice choices of masks to kind of create the shape of that mouth. It looks phenomenal. It looks really cool. It's a great way of creating that dragon head there. It's just awesome to see. This is a brilliant collaborative mock, and I just kept looking back at this when they posted this. I couldn't stop looking. Just even like a week after it, I just kept coming back to it. There's something so unique, so beautiful about these two dragons that both of them did a fantastic job. Really love it. They both nailed the Chinese dragon look as well, which I think is really, really commendable and really nicely done. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. More collabs in future, guys. More collabs. I love it. These guys are great. So that wraps up my top 10 favorite Bionicle MOCs of 2018. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for 2019 for more exciting content from me, Ben Cossey. And stay tuned for 2019 for my next top 10 favorite MOCs of the year, because you know I'll probably be doing it again next year. See you then, guys. Have a happy new year and have a great day. Happy building. See you in the next episode.